What's up, everybody? We're going to go over the new immunization screening task. This is a new task that we decided to populate patients with over 10 meds. It is an immunization task, and at this time it comes from Part B claims data, and soon we will have Part D claims data rolled into this as well, so that'll be nice. A little bit more complete picture there of what's going on with the patient. Currently at this time, we're focusing on 5 different vaccines, and I'll throw them on the screen here for all y'all. And that's the influenza, pneumococcal, zoster, Hep B, and Tdap vaccines. And so what we want to do here when we come into this task, just like any other task, is going to bring us here to the task tab of the patient's profile. We can see what the task is here, so immunization screening. If the patient has any immunizations on file through claims, those will populate here. And then we can decide if we want to intervene. Yes. If we do, then it'll ask us to do this immunization status screening, which we'll come back to in just 1 second. But if we don't want to intervene, we can say no, just like previously before with the other tasks. And then once again, select our option here that applies to why we are refusing to do this task. Or, as always, we have the free text entry here for you guys. But once again, so we'll go back. So if we do want to intervene on this task, the immunization status screening. So what that is basically those 5 immunizations that we spoke about earlier. So pneumococcal, Hep B, influenza, zoster, and Tdap. And what we'll want to do is pull the patient up in our state immunization registry. For us here in Iowa, it is IRIS. And then check and see what the status of those 5 immunizations are. So the workflow for this, we'll go to the patient's profile first. And so we use the intervention section down here to draft up those 5 immunizations. And so we've gone ahead and done the immunization intervention, drafted them for today, set status as draft, and then we did manual entry for all these because at this time there's quite a few options when we type in for the vaccines. We don't have those quite cut down yet. So if you just want to type in here Hep B and create an option, that's fine for now. And so we list the 5 here, and then once again we look to IRIS to see which of these 5 are complete, or if any are complete. And after checking IRIS, we did see that this patient had their influenza vaccine already. So we can go ahead right here on that. If we hover to the right of the influenza, we can remove that here from the patient's list. And then we'll save here and close out. And so right up here underneath the patient's demographic on the left-hand side of the screen is the immunization section of the patient profile. So we'll go ahead and open that up. Once again, it was the influenza vaccine that we saw that the patient had. And that was, let's see, quadrivalent and preservative-free. They got that there on 10/11/2018. And then we can add that. And so it shows that completed immunization there on the patient's profile. And so to kind of recap everything once again, we'll see that we have the immunization screening task. Select that we'd like to intervene, and then this immunization status screening is once again asking us to check the status of those 5 vaccines: pneumococcal, Hep B, influenza, Tdap, and zoster. So start with that. We go back to the profile here, go down to the interventions tab, draft up those 5 real quick under immunization, and then we check IRIS to make sure that, or to check to see if they have or have not been completed. And if they have been completed, we can go ahead and remove them from this draft list, which is a to-do list, and come up here and log them under the immunization section of the patient profile. And so once we've checked the status of those 5 immunizations, we have them logged here in draft, and the completed ones logged here in the immunizations. We can go back to the task, and we can complete that immunization status screening, checking that box there. And then we'll hit complete task, and then that'll log here under the history tab, just like the other tasks do. And we can see who completed it, when it was completed. And so that's nice there to have a nice record of who's doing what. For now, we'll go back to this to-do tab and uncheck this here. And now you're probably wondering, now that I've got these drafted, how do I know when I log into DocStation what patients have drafted interventions? So if we come out here to the dashboard, apply our plan filter. Once we have our plan filter selected up here on top, go back to the location where the patient belonged, or the location that we work at. So in this instance, it was Lennox. And we can add a filter here by intervention. I want to search immunization, draft. And so that lets us pare down that patient list to just the patients who we know have a to-do list for immunizations and need immunizations. So once again, if we go into the patient's profile here, you can see down at the bottom, there's a drafted intervention, so something for us to do for this patient. And then we can see that the 4 vaccines that the patient is yet to receive are listed here.